Hi guys, I want to help out some friends, so I'm quickly going to show you how to do bead crochet. Now, I'm going to do this with pretty thick yarn. You're better off doing that with like a 1mm cotton, much easier, and it won't, because when I go and do the stitch it will go through my yarn, and when you have the right needle, which is much thinner than my 4mm that I have right here, that will be better. I'm also going to use size 6 seed beads, and that's not a good plan either. Use size 8 with the yarn, 1mm, and I think it was like a 9 or a 10 in crochet needle. So there's a link underneath the video where I got this from, but it seems that people are still getting stuck to that. So I never done this before, and I just figured out how it works. So I figured if I never done it before, it might be the easiest thing to show on what I am doing, because people that already know how to do it take some things for granted that you shouldn't be taking for granted, and I think I already know what that is. So I'm taking my yarn and I'm putting my wide-eye needle through that, and I'm gonna pick up my beads. Now I got 3 colors, so that's the best thing to start, but again, this is size 6, please use size 8. And pick them up in order. Very important. If you don't pick them up in the right order, then your project is doomed to fail. So I got silver, white, black, silver, white, black, silver, white, black. Stop with black. Don't stop with white when you pull them all down. You got silver, white, black, and just talk out loud. Silver, white, black, and then you won't make those mistakes. Okay? Silver, white, black, silver, white, black, silver, white, white, let me see, starting with silver, silver, white, black, silver, white, black. So just see what I just do. When they flipped off the needle, I went back to where I started in my mantra. Silver, white, black, silver, white, black. Okay, and I'm gonna get a Ziploc bag. I'm gonna put my yarn in there. And I'm gonna just pull out a little bit more yarn and close up my Ziploc bag, so my yarn won't fall out, and I will put that in front of me. Now, to set that up, watch this. Go over your finger, go into the loop, and just pull that through gently, like that. Pull that through. Now you got your crochet needle right here. Let me just get rid of some of that stuff that is in the way. Okay, Put your crochet needle in the loop and pull that loop on both sides like that. And first you're gonna pull a couple of them down. See, if you have cotton, that will slide down, but this doesn't slide down. So just grab the first one, put it all the way to the knot, and make sure it's under your needle, your crochet needle. Put this thread over your finger, go underneath it with your needle, and pull that through the loop right there. Okay, and now you can tighten by pulling the underneath it, the one that you started with, this thread. You can pull it a little tighter so that that seed bead will stay in there. Grab your next one, pull that down, and be careful. I want to tighten that up a little bit more. Pull that all the way down underneath the knot, put the thread over your finger, go underneath the thread, and just hold that bead, hold it, and go into the loop. And now you can tighten that up a little bit. Just tighten that up. Not too much. Grab the next one, but you got to make sure that that bead doesn't fall back into, let me point that out to you, into this loop that you have here. So you don't want this bead going through, okay? So you got to make sure that that loop at least is secure enough to hold that bead there. Now pick up the next one, got it all the way under the knot, go under the thread and into the loop. And if you use yarn, you got to be really careful that you don't go through any of the threads there of the yarn. And I'm just trying to pull that a little bit tight like that, making sure that that seed bead doesn't go to the other side. Next one, picking my thread up over my finger, I'm going under the thread, holding my seed bead into the loop, and I'm holding that, pulling that tight. I don't want that, not too tight, because you don't want to, you still have to go through here with the crochet needle. So you're doing this 6 times. Pull that down, under, loop, and making sure that and that's just the first row where you have to really worry about that bead going back into that loop. So I'm just going to pull that down a little bit more like that, and this is the last one, number 6. And I'm gonna go put that all the way under the loop there, under the thread, holding the bead and pulling the loop through like that. And let me move the camera just a little bit because I'm bumping into the camera with my needle there. Now we need to make it a complete loop. So now we're going to take the end, and right here, I don't know if you can see that, let me see if I can zoom that in a little bit. Right here where that, let me just put that needle in there. Right here, there's a little loop. That's the one you need to get into, right here. So don't go in here, but go right in here. And that's going to be a little bit hard because we pulled it really tight, but if you want to, you can always loosen that up a little bit. Give that a little bit more room because it's the first one. So you got room, you can pull that out a little bit. Give it a little space. Okay, so we're going to go in there with our crochet needle, and then this thing needs to be on the left side, right there. And we're going to pull that a little bit closer together. And you can see which loop you need to go into, because the loop you need to get into is the same color as the seed bead that you're dropping now. Okay, so you're gonna drop that seed bead, and then that seed bead needs to, you can push that crochet needle in a little bit more, that seed bead needs to cross over that other seed bead with the thread. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your middle finger, hold that down, that seed bead, this one, hold it down, pull through the loop, come up, and pick it up and pull through the loop again. So you got 2 loops you need to go through, and now they're right next to each other. The next one, go under, just go under the seed bead and you'll be in the right position. And make sure you didn't go through any yarn thread there or cotton thread. Pull the next black seed bead down a little bit. Make sure your seed bead goes to the other side. Cross the thread right there and hold this black seed bead down while you pull through the first loop. Come up, take a breather, and go down in the second loop again, like that. Okay, so first thing to do is you go in underneath that seed bead, right there. Then you push that seed bead over to the other side, right there. You drop down the seed bead from your thread, like that, and cross that over. And if you need to push your needle further through, that's okay. Cross it over. Hold that with your middle finger, go through the first loop, 1, and go through the second loop, 2. Okay, and again, underneath the seed bead, push the seed bead over, drop the seed bead, cross your thread over the other one, hold your seed bead down into the loop and into the loop. Again, underneath the seed bead, right there, and for me it's hard to do because this is not the right needle, nor the right yarn, nor the right seed beads, but push it over, pull it down, hold it in place with your middle finger, pick up the thread, pull it through the first loop, and pull it through the second loop. I just want to make sure that in case you still bump into any problems, one more time, that when you go in underneath the silver, in this case, and you push it up to the other side, that when you cross this, that seed bead stays basically in front and down, so you can hold them both like that together in front of that when you pull that through. See, because you wanted that on top of there. So this is it. It's way too big for a bracelet, as you can see. I think it's not that bad actually for a necklace. But you know, there's a link underneath the video that tells you to do this if you want bracelets with like 1mm cotton, and definitely not this size of a crochet beading needle. But that's pretty cool. So if you still like that and say, you know what, that's really cool, what are you using? Well, I'm using like some yarn. Let me see what that says. What size? And this is needle size. Can we have some information, please? Needle size 3, 3.5, and it says USA 4.5 for needles, and then 3, 3.5. I hope maybe you can read that. Yeah, and I have like a 4mm crochet needle here, so that's 4mm. So let me see if that says 10 by 10, blah blah blah, 50% cotton. So this is 50% cotton and 50% acrylic. something like that. Anyway, so that's this. So if you say, well, you know, all that little tiny work, or my eyes can't handle the 1mm cotton and the tiny seed beads, then, you know, this would be cool, because this is going to make a really pretty necklace, and it's a really good size for that. And if you stop, just make sure you pull that through really far, and then tomorrow when you start working again, make sure you go into the loop. Let me get that out of the way. Into the loop, you pull that down, and you watch which one this seed bead is. Okay, so this is white, so that means you need to go into white right here, so you don't lose track. Right, poof that over, pull that down, and remember, just kind of hold them both, put your finger on both of them, and then you're sure that it's going to stay in place. And then you just pull them through, 1 and 2. Oh, and you probably want to know, what do you do when you run out of beads? Well, you just take a lot of yarn off the roll and start adding beads on the other side. So that's basically a really no-brainer, but just in case you were wondering, I thought I would mention it. Oh, and one more thing about that last bit of yarn. I would just go, because this one seems to be loose, through all that to work my yarn away. Just go up there, pull that through. And when you're far enough, then you can cut that off, I guess. Five would do it, I'd say. So, I can already cut that off. Just so you know how to get rid of that loose bead at the end. Maybe you could find a better way on how to attach it, but I haven't been able to figure that out. So, there. And now you need a clasp. But I'll leave that up to you. Bye guys!